Pauline Rees, and I'm the secretary for Hu3a, and I've also been involved in putting together the programme events to celebrate our 25th anniversary year. I'm going to be your host and compere for today, but you don't want to hear anything else from me, so I'm very happy to hand over to our first speaker, who is your Hu3a Chairman, Pauline Rees.
Gosh, this is a baptism of fire for me, I tell you. Anyway, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I must also extend a special welcome to those joining us on Zoom, wherever you may be. Fingers crossed, the technology behaves itself this morning. Before we begin, I need to point out the fire exits. I've always wanted to be an air hostess. There are fire exits near the front of the hall, in the additional exits at the refreshment area, and of course the main entrance. In the event of a fire alarm, our ushers, who will guide you to safety from the building. Now, our designated area is between the duck pond and the St Martin's car park. Okay, and then. And the other thing is, I hope you all received your free raffle tickets on arrival. If not, I'll get Pat to hand them out to you, or if you go and I'll point you out to Pat later. We have 3 prizes to be drawn at the end of the morning, so keep your tickets safe. And if you're anything like me, you'll put it somewhere safe and spend the next 2 hours trying to remember where it was. Actually, hang on. I think I put it in one of my pockets. Oh, here it is. Now that the formalities are out of the way, it gives me great pleasure to officially welcome you all to this very special occasion as we celebrate 25 years of Hillingdon Hu3a. It is wonderful to see so many members and guests here today to celebrate our special anniversary. When we first started planning this celebration, several members applied. 25 years? That was only yesterday. Of course, when you reach our stage of life, yesterday can mean anything from last week to the turn of the century. So, 25 years ago, a small group of Hillingdon people came together with a vision of creating opportunities for learning, friendship, and shared interests in later life. Since then, Hillingdon Hu3a has grown into the vibrant, diverse and welcoming organisation we know today, enriching the lives of hundreds of members through the simple but powerful principle of learning from one another. Today is both a celebration of that achievement and a showcase of the enthusiasm, talent and community spirit that continue to make Hillingdon Hu3a so special. We are honoured to be joined today by 2 distinguished guests. The former Mayor of Hillingdon, Councillor Phillip Corthorne. He has kindly taken time from what I'm sure is a very busy schedule to be with us today. And we look forward to hearing his reflections. We are also delighted to welcome our London Regional Chair, Val Girling. We are so grateful for both for joining us to celebrate this important anniversary. Alongside our guest speakers, we have a wonderful programme of demonstrations showcasing just a few of the many activities available within Hillingdon Hu3a. During the morning, you'll enjoy from our Cryptic Crossword group, Ukulele group, Chairobics, Welsh language group, and creative writers. These demonstrations represent only a small sample of the wide range of interests, skills and opportunities our members enjoy every week. They reflect the enthusiasm, generosity and willingness to share knowledge that lies at the heart of the Hu3a ethos. This anniversary also gives us an opportunity to recognise and thank all those who have contributed to Hillingdon Hu3a over the past 25 years. Our founders, committee members, group leaders, volunteers and members past and present. Your commitment, energy and friendship have built the thriving organisation we celebrate today. As we celebrate our past, we also look to the future with confidence. Hillingdon U3a remains vibrant, active and welcoming because people continue to contribute their time, talents and enthusiasm. Every member plays a part in making this organisation what it is. I hope you enjoy the morning, renew old friendships, make new connections and perhaps discover a new interest or activity to explore. And if you leave today and signed up for yet another group, don't blame us. Thank you once again for joining us on this special occasion. Let us celebrate 25 years of learning, laughter and friendship and community, and look forward to the next chapter in the story of Hillingdon U3a. Thank you and enjoy the morning. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our first guest speaker, Councillor Phillip Corthorne, who has given us many years of dedicated service to the people of Hillingdon. During his time as Mayor, he met and supported countless local organisations and saw firsthand the difference that community groups make to people's lives. Welcome, Phillip.
Thank you very much, Pauline, and thank you. That's about as good as it gets of me these days, I'm afraid. So it's one of the best photos you could have found of me. Can you all hear me, please? You can all hear me. Wonderful. When it turns a little bit further down, short-sighted, I tend to go with bold print, and it actually helps me a bit. I can just about see what it is I need to say. But may I first of all say what a joy it is to be with you today, and the number of people who are here who I've seen during the course of my mayoral year is really quite incredible. Lots of familiar faces from all corners of the borough. Many people from Ruislip, of course. I'm a Ruislip resident, but of course the mayoral role is a roving role. You cover the length and breadth of the borough. So it's a great, great pleasure. I was given 10 minutes to speak. This is a speech that I've worked on a bit. I delivered something similar at the Northwood Residents Association, where I was invited to reflect on the mayoral year. It was a bit longer, so I've cut bits out. So I'll do my best to keep the time, but if my host wants to pull me up for going on too long, then I shan't take it badly. So anyway, I stand before you today as Hillingdon's most recent past mayor from the 25-26 municipal year, which was a distinct honour for me to have. I stood down nearly 4 weeks ago now, as one must, following the local elections, and it's a joy to be with you today. So before I get going, a little bit more about me. I go back in Hillingdon actually a very long time, to 1993 to be exact, when I was first elected as a Ruislip councillor, when I was a young man with a lot more hair and I was better looking in those days. But anyway, I go back quite a long way. And but for the two boundary changes, I've represented part of Ruislip ever since. Now, for the best part of 20 years, I served in Hillingdon's cabinet under the leadership of Sir Ray Puddiford, who some of you, I'm sure, will have heard about. I've been on it now for quite a few years. And when we stood down in 2021, that saw the end of my time in cabinet, although, in fact, the thought of not being involved at that level was far worse than reality. Because what I've really done over that time is reinvented myself somewhat, including on select committees that the council run, scrutinising much of that for which I was once responsible. And I used to have responsibility for housing, social services, environment, all kinds of things. But at the same time, I hasten to add, but over a number of years. The then leader of the council, Ian Edwards, suggested to me that I might consider putting my name forward to be mayor over the course of the next 4 years. And after a period of deliberation, which actually took me 18 months or so to think about it, I finally went back to him and said, yes, I'd be happy to put my name forward. I'll come back to the period of deliberation and what that was all about a little bit later, if I may. So enough about me. What is the role of a mayor in a London borough? Well, firstly, I should explain I was not the Lord Mayor of Hillingdon, as I was sometimes incorrectly introduced. Of all the 32 London boroughs, only Westminster's mayor gets to be called Lord Mayor because Westminster is classed as both a borough and a city. Even so, to be introduced as the worshipful the Mayor of Hillingdon, really one for highfalutin introductions, was a distinct honour for me. Another thing that sometimes needs explaining is that the mayor is civic and ceremonial, as in the case of directly elected mayors, such as the Mayor of London, whose role is overtly political. Now, civic mayors, on the other hand, are elected by their peers, fellow councillors. In Hillingdon, there are 53 councillors at the moment, so it's them that gets to pick who's going to be mayor. So the mayor is known as the first citizen of the borough and represents His Majesty the King on certain occasions. For example, when we conduct citizenship ceremonies which take place every other week at the Civic Centre. The mayor is also involved in greeting members of the royal family on the occasion of royal visits alongside the representative deputy lieutenant. One of the functions the mayor is to chair is full council meetings. Have you ever been to the Civic Centre and watched the full council meeting? One or two of you. Okay, they can be quite hard going. You can watch them live stream. Anyway, as mayor, you don't have that privilege. You have to be there in the flesh chairing these meetings, and they can actually go on for as long as 3 hours. And in a hot, airless council chamber, we're in the civic regalia with the robes. It can be quite hard going, but generally I managed to navigate them reasonably well. Now, of course, although I'm very much a politician, the mayor is non-political, requiring me to put my own opinions to one side. It was my job to chair council meetings in an even-handed way, making sure that in what can be quite a heated atmosphere, councillors are reasonably respectful of each other and that meetings were properly conducted. Since they are in fact the mayor's meetings, it fell to me to decide if an adjournment was necessary, as I did on one occasion when there was some disruptive behaviour in the chamber. It does happen, I'm afraid. Being in a non-political role, especially in election year, can be tricky because people always want to talk politics with you, don't they? So I learned to tread carefully around such things when raised, assuring people that while I certainly have views, I was not at liberty to express them in the role. So what did I do over the last year? Well, I was involved in over 500 events, including new business events and openings, school and care home visits to hospitals and charities, involving faith groups as well, and many residents groups. Now, I must just say to the Hu3a, if you didn't see me during the course of the year, I can only apologise, but I have to point out that the mayor cannot simply pitch up uninvited. The mayor does require an invitation. Quite possibly there was one, but you sometimes have 3 or 4 way diary clashes. Believe it or not, that's what happens. However, I feel I'm making up for lost time by being with you here today. And don't forget the mayor as an institution, of course, is more important than the individual in the role. So we have a new mayor, Councillor Hu3a Chairperson, and I would encourage you to reach out to her. So charity fundraising, what have I got to do with that? That's not the principal role of the mayor, but the mayor does get to pick a charity or two to benefit from their fundraising activities. Now, some of you may know that I'm a stroke survivor, and Hillingdon Stroke Support seemed a natural choice for me, as did SEND Family Support, assisting families of children with special educational needs, of which, as many of you I'm sure know, there are a growing number. Now, my fundraising activities included quiz nights, a race night, a cheese and wine evening, courtesy of Waitrose. It's amazing what businesses will do when you ask them nicely, and it was a really lovely occasion. A charity cricket match between Eastcote and Nickham Cricket Clubs, both of which I know very well, as at one time I used to play cricket and I had some moderate ability myself as a cricketer. So to date, £40,000 has been raised. I'm delighted with that, and I'm deeply grateful and humbled at people's generosity. And that is one thing we do learn as mayor. People are incredibly public-spirited and generous. I'm very much aware of that. Now, one misconception about civic and ceremonial London mayors is that they wield significant power. Now, several centuries ago, that might well have been the case. These days, not so. Choosing which charity to support is pretty much the only big decision a modern mayor gets to make. The parallel I used to make to the many school children who visited me in the parlour is with the monarchy. His Majesty the King occupies a position of immense prestige, but really wields little power. And in some ways, the mayoralty is like the monarchy in microcosm. These days, I think mayors have 2 principal functions. We represent the link between the past and the present, and all of our rich civic heritage in the borough back to the days when Hillingdon Council didn't exist. It was made up of 4 district councils until 1965. Anyone remember the old urban district council? Don't suppose anyone would admit to remembering that, but back in 1965, the year of my birth, when Hillingdon came into being, at that time, we had 4 district councils. We're very proud of our Hu3a's heritage too in the borough, including our shared heritage with the Polish airmen and Gurkhas at Northolt. And of course, Northolt is the only remaining fully operational Battle of Britain airfield. Incidentally, there are still Gurkhas and Polish airmen at Northolt these days. I don't know if anyone knows that, but that is a fact. But arguably, the most important function, I think, is to work towards and promote community cohesion. We've just had a very difficult year in which we've seen flags going up in lampposts in part of the borough, and that has created quite a lot of community tension, and it's difficult to be in this role in that sort of situation. That was quite a challenge for me. So this year I've met many hundreds of businesses, charities, non-profits, faith groups, health organisations, schools, community and volunteer groups. One thing which has struck me is the soft power which goes with the mayoralty. Having said I've got no power, or that I had no power as mayor, there is the soft power and the ability to get stakeholders into one room, make introductions leading to mutual benefit. And I've done that with many businesses and charities over the course of this year. What better example of these wonderful groups in the borough is Hu3a, which, as we've heard, celebrates 25 years in Hillingdon this year. 850 strong, I understand, at the moment, and that's doubled since 2001. I think the opportunity to learn and explore topics of interest in later life, together with the societal benefit of human contact and having some fun along the way, is of immense benefit, something I came to appreciate when I had responsibility for adult services in the borough. So my thanks to you all for what you do as individuals in making the organisation what it is. Now, something that did surprise me a little during the course of my mayoralty is the way the role of the mayor is seen. Now, to some, it might seem that the mayoralty is a little bit old-fashioned, bit of an anachronism perhaps, and nice to have at a time of acute financial challenge. But my experience, counterintuitive though it may seem, is that the institution of the mayoralty is, and its interwoven relationship with our rich civic heritage, really matters to ordinary people. You turn up as mayor with a chain, the robes, it matters to people. It seems counterintuitive nowadays, doesn't it? But I found that really incredible. And of course, the mayoralty these days runs on a shoestring. There's no money in local government for anything these days. Those times when we had many lavish catered events are long gone. We don't do anything like that. Anyone who came to see me in the parlour got a cup of tea or coffee if they were lucky. Maybe a biscuit thrown in, and that was it. But hopefully the experience of being in the parlour and what we talked about made up for it. Coming to the end now, you'll be pleased to know, I mentioned earlier that I hesitated for a while before accepting the honour of becoming mayor. And I suppose looking back, I did so as, without wishing to generalise, I tended to think of some past mayors, with all due respect, as older councillors coming towards the end of their time, for which the mayoralty was perhaps a little bit of a swan song. Now, that wasn't how I saw myself 4 years ago. I felt I had more to do. I still think I've got more to do. But what it came round to was the idea that you can actually make a difference and you can add value and you can learn new things. I suppose that chimes very much with Hu3a in a sense, doesn't it, really? So it felt, eventually, after much reflection, it felt like the right thing to do, and I hope that I've added value in doing that. There's also this idea that no one who's a serious politician wants to be mayor. I don't know where people get that idea from, but I think there's a bit of that about in local government as well. I overcame all that and I had a tremendous year. Thank you for that. Another great thing about the role is seemingly relentless negativity. We get to see so much that is positive in every corner of the borough, and there really are some incredible people who do so much for us in their own time. And there are many of those people in this room here, connected with other organisations too. So now I've moved on from the role of first citizen, complete with some great experiences and relationships, and with my past mayor's badge, making its third outing so far. They give you a badge to commemorate your year, so that will become an heirloom. But I do get to wear it on certain occasions, particularly on occasions like this. I'm actually taking on the new role within the council. I chair the planning committee, which is in some respects a bit of a poison chalice, but in actual fact, it's something that I be a great experience. And my professional background is human resources, and I have this idea of continuous learning. again, it chimes with the Hu3a, doesn't it? I think you learn new things all the time. And I think even though planning policy limits local decision making to a large extent, I think you can make a difference through decisions you make. So I'm very much looking forward to taking that on. So, of course, my congratulations and my very best wishes to my successor, Councillor Hu3a, who took on the role 3.5 weeks ago. And I would, in all seriousness, encourage the Hu3a to reach out to her. Delightful lady, and I'm sure she'd be very pleased to see you. And I think it remains only for me now to wish Hu3a every success in the future. Thank you for what you do. I'm delighted you're at 850. I hope you can go through the 1,000 threshold before too long. Anything I can do to help you achieve that, I most certainly will. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip. Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you. I'd like to welcome our next guest speaker, who is Val Girling, who is the chair of the London Region Network for Hu3a's. She's attempting to bring all 43 Hu3a's into closer contact so we can share our challenges, but also our successes. She set out to visit as many Hu3a's as possible, has visited 18 so far. So we couldn't quite make it to be the 25th visit on our 25th anniversary, but we're very happy to welcome you anyway today. Thank you very much, Val.
Well, as has been said, yes, I am chair of London Region. I found Philip's speech very inspiring myself, because what he's been doing is working for, in his own words, community cohesion in Hillingdon. And that is what I have challenged myself to do with the London Region. I've managed to, as I say, get to about 18 out of 43 Hu3a's in 18 months. Obviously, it takes a lot of travelling, because I am going, 30 miles south of the river, 30 miles north of the river, east and west. So it takes me some time to get around all these. But the whole point of it is to actually, as there's been said, to help Hu3a's understand that the London region exists, to share good practice, to support Hu3a's, because some of them have some difficulties. Interestingly enough, Hu3a's vary in size from, I was at one last week in South London, which only has 43 members. 4 on the committee and 4 interest groups. And you can understand that a conversation with that group of people, for me to go all that way, to try and get them to feel inspired and to feel that they are supported in actually well, they're frightened they're going to fold. Obviously, what I try to do is to inspire them to say, you know what? We've got an answer to a lot of things. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not even alone in only having 50 members, to be quite honest. So what we're trying to do is to point them in the right direction. I can get them grants. I can get them all different things to help them. And I left them, I am convinced, I've been in touch with them since. I went last week. I've inspired them to make an action plan. We made an action plan before I left. Small steps. As I said, it could be a 2-year plan, but it is possible to do it. Now, I became known at the London region because I took over, not necessarily willingly, but I was vice chair in Palmer's Green and Southgate, and the chair at that point, her husband had a 3rd stroke, and she had to give up. So I took over, as you do if you're vice chair. But I decided if I am going to be chair, I'm going to give it my best shot, and I managed to double my membership from 350 to we're nearly 700 now in 3 years. And it was because of that inspiring message and the hard work that we put into it that I got known at the London region meetings. And therefore, when last year, it was put before me that if nobody volunteered, the London region as a region and as a committee would fold. I heard the call and I stood up. I mean, I think the point was that I found it when I took over as Palmer's Green Chair about 4 years ago. I found it incredibly supportive. I met some wonderful people, great deal of expertise in that room when we had a Chairs Network meeting, which we have every February, and where I met Pauline this year. And what it did was it showed me that I could make a difference, just like Philip's been saying, even in my small way, in my own Hu3a, I could make a difference. I could reach out to people who needed the Hu3a. And that is what I did. And through that, of course, when it came to the London region, I've carried on. Now, I didn't have to visit everybody in the London region. It hasn't been done before. But at that point, when a year ago, of the 43, 23 were all involved in the London region. Well, to me, that if you've got a community and only half of them are engaging with you, it's not a community, is it? Half of them just not involved, not aware of what we were trying to do, not aware of what help we could give them. And I have to say that more than one Hu3a visit that I've made, I've sat down at a committee of a dozen people and they've said, well, what is the London region? It shocked me. It shocked me because there's no real reason for them not to know and not to feel that if they have a problem, which every Hu3a has some, especially succession, especially getting new people on their committee. You know, loads of Hu3as have got the same problem. You might not have, but the thing is, lots of them do. You know, I say, well, actually, if you joined in with what we do, you would realise that we can help you with all that. You know, and they come hopefully out of that meeting inspired. The largest Hu3a is about 1,800 members, twice the number you've got. And they've managed to, I think, to make their Hu3a successful at that figure, because quite honestly, at nearly 700, we're not struggling. We're just wondering how big it'll get. They've managed to do it because I think they've been prepared to pay tutors to fill in where the local community cannot serve. You see, normally what happens is that in the constitution of the Hu3a, the national Hu3a, it says really that you're only supposed to use the expertise that you have in your Hu3a as a collaborative effort to share knowledge and enthusiasm. Well, I was privileged to meet Alan Walmsley in February, because when we had our Chairs Network Day in Islington, we arranged for him to come down for 3 days and visit lots of Hu3as, and each evening he was entertained with a meal of some of our London Region Committee, and I met him the evening before he came to our Chairs Network Day. And he happened to say, he said, well, I have this, although I know I'm speaking against the Constitution, which, let's face it, was created a long time ago. He said, although I realised I'm in a private setting now. Of course, I held him to it because he said it publicly later, because I said, you better. He said, between you and me, you know, he said, I think that what happens is that Hu3as can become very introverted because all they're doing is looking inward at what they have. And he said, I think that the time has come now, with the way things are, for Hu3as to actually look outside, and if they need to, pay tutors. Now, that was a godsend, that conversation to me, because I've been getting to a point where I couldn't see how I could create any more interest groups from the expertise and the enthusiasm that I have in my Hu3a. There are some Hu3as that have lots and lots of arts and crafts groups because there are groups of designers and artists. Some other ones have sports because you have lots of sports people in their area. We have a dearth of arts and crafts and sport, physical things. And I was saying, well, the only, the way we need to expand is to offer these things. So he has now opened up, and I'm campaigning actively this week again at my Hu3a committee to say, please, will you let me try to pay some tutors so that we can expand? And I think that's how Barnet has managed to do so well, because on last count, we were looking to see how many it looked as if they paid, and at least 25, just at face value, looking at the list, were being paid tutors. And I think, in a way, if we're looking towards the future, a lot of our meetings we actually do talk about, so how can we draw the younger end of retirement, as it were, into our fold? How can we get them? How can we get more men? How can we get more, whatever? We need to keep rejuvenating ourselves and building. That is the way that we will do it, by opening up and offering more. You in Hillingdon are obviously being very successful. You've got about 850. You're firmly in the comfortable middle there of that spectrum of the size of Hu3a groups, and you're obviously thriving. And I would like to say that is in no small part, I don't know who's responsible for it, but your website is one of the best in the region that I have seen. Whenever I'm going to visit a Hu3a, I go through various figures that I am privy to, and I always look on the website to see whether it looks as if it's alive, because some of them don't even look alive. Unfortunately, last week I had to say to this group of people with only 43 members, I'm afraid your website's absolutely dead, and they looked at one another and I thought, oh dear, I've said the wrong thing yet again. But I said, I'm only telling you how it is. The point is, the first port of call these days is your website. I remember going to another local, when I wanted to join the Hu3a, another local Hu3a, and I looked on that. There was a phone number on it. So that's not for me. That's not lively enough. That's not enough going on. I need to know that things are going on. And your website is really, really good. And it would encourage anyone to make me join. If I didn't live miles away, I'd join you as well. But there you are. So the thing is, first port of call, a lively website, really great. And it seemed to me, I was impressed by Pauline when I met her in February. I'm even more impressed now. And I really hope that you, I don't know whether she wants to double, we're having in numbers, but the thing is, so long as you can find willing people, enthusiastic people, and you can find lots of fun things for people to do and learn, it don't matter how many members you have, but you need to be able to at least balance the books. and unfortunately, some of these very small Hu3as are struggling. But you're not, and it's great to see so many people here. And I shall continue on my travels, but glad to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Val. Thank you for your kind words about the website. I think we should acknowledge Tony down here. So we're going to start now with the first of some of the presentations from some of our interest groups. We've got several groups which maybe sort of stretch our intellectual, our brain power. We've got canasta, mahjong, quiz, chess. But we're going to have a presentation first by the Cryptic Crosswords group. So I'd like to welcome Chris Clare, who's going to get your little grey silver cells working. Okay.
Hi everyone. we've just heard two really inspirational talks, and I'm afraid this one's a bit more light-hearted. And anyway, I'll do my best. A lot of you know me as I'm a committee member, but I also run the travel group and the Cryptic Crossword group. Hillingdon Hu3a offers many language groups, and trying to understand what a cryptic crossword is trying to tell you is a bit like learning a new language. I'm going to give you a very quick overview of solving crosswords using lots of examples, and I'm going to end with some Hu3a themed clues written by our Cryptic Crossword group. So let's get started. I'm just going to move this around a bit so I can see my slide. Okay, so in a cryptic crossword clue, there's always going to be a definition, and it's usually the first or last word in the clue. There may also be an anagram, a word to tell, and there will also be a word, there may be an anagram indicator, a word to tell you that another word is off. So often a word like unwell, ill, broken, etc. So let's have a look at this. Weird bordello, don't knock it. Here the word weird is telling us that there's an anagram in the clue, and don't knock it is the definition of the clue. So the answer in this case is doorbell, literally something you don't knock. Another example, bad losers hold 5 people like you. This one's slightly trickier. The word here that we need to change into another word is losers, but it's only got 6 letters, and we need a word with 7 letters. But it says hold 5 people like you, and 5 in Roman numerals is V. So if we add a V to losers, bad is telling us it's an anagram, rearrange the letters, we get solvers, people like you. Okay, sometimes the answer is literally staring you in the face, and the word that you're looking for is hidden in the clue. So here we've got celebrity among first arriving, and the word among tells us that the answer is within the clue, and the definition there is celebrity. So you might see that within that it says star, can hear people whispering it. It's really helpful to do cryptic crosswords if you know chemical symbols. And also a lot of words are often changed or replaced with a shortened word. So church, for instance, you normally replace it with CH or CE. So in this clue, confine silver in church. Silver is AG. So if we put AG within either CH or CE, we get a word that means confine, and we get cage. And this last example on this page, service man's holding it back in 6. The definition there is service, and the key word there is man's, and it says holding it back. So we have to put the word it backwards. So if we add the word it backwards into man's, we get matins, service. Ah, you see, it's all making sense. Okay, sometimes a clue is just cryptic, and you just have to read it and think, what could that mean? So, what was once a smoking jacket in 6? The definition there is jacket. So we're looking for a word that has got some relation to smoking and actually means jacket. So if you start thinking fire, flames, blaze, blazer. And the next one, complaint from bishop returning payment. The definition here is complaint, and bishop is normally just abbreviated to B. Returning payment, again, is telling us to return a word. So another word for payment is fee. So if we put fee backwards and you put a B in front of it, you get a word for complaint, which is beef. Yeah, you're getting the hang of it. Principal graduate at home. Graduate is always abbreviated to MA or BA. At home is always in. You're at home, you're in. So if you put either BA or MA in front of in, you get a word for principal, which is main. Excellent. Poets start drinking in pubs. Another word for pubs is bars. Start drinking is telling you to take the start letter of the word drinking, and the definition there is poets. So if we put a D into bars, we get poets. And this last one, I like this one, swing a camera to show. The definition there is actually both swing a camera and show. So if you swing a camera, you move it or you pan it. So you pan to, also panto, pan to, panto, yes? Okay, so now it's over to you. Right. Leaving work buried in spare tyre mentality in 10. So it says buried. So the word is actually buried in the answer, in the clue. And can you see the word retirement? Yes. Year after 3 girls cut short an anniversary in 11. Now, 3 girls could mean anything. 3 girls' names, gals, lasses, whatever. So your best bet there is to think about another word that means celebration. What are we doing today? What is today? Anniversary. So Annie, Vera, and Sarah all cut short. And year after, so the Y for year is after the girls' names. This one, he told his tale with no sense of the past. We have several of these groups. His tale, his story. No sense means take away the extra S. Oh, my clicker stopped working, Brian. Oh, it's there. Right, it's there. His history, his story minus the S. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so this is the last slide for you to guess. Hu3a's, right. Hu3a's latest post sounds like a buzz to me. Sorry, a B to me. Sorry. That's Buzz newsletter. Violet on bench dreams of going places with friends. So Violet, abbreviated to Vi, she's sitting on a bench, visits. Pow with vessel makes for good company in 10. Another word for pow? Another word for vessel? Friendship, right. And I expect you all to shout at the top of your voices the answer to this last one. It's in 3. University leader, sorry, I can't read it. To be followed by academy heads fun organisation in 3. And the answer is Hu3a. Thank you all for listening. If anyone wants to come and talk to me about the Cryptic Crossword group, then I'm always around. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. I can recommend the group. I'm also a Cryptic Crossworder, and it's a fun thing to do, even if you think you can't do them at all. Just come along and give it a go. Right, before we go into our break, I'm very pleased that we've got a representation from one of our music groups. We've got several groups within Hu3a, jazz, guitar, and now the ukulele. So I'd like to invite the ukulele group up on stage, who are going to give us a musical interlude and we'll go to break. You notice in the break, there are several tables here in the foyer and in the refreshments room. So please take a chance to have a look through these, see representations from other interest groups. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear me, that's better, yes. So thank you very much to our ukulele group. I'm just there are 24 of us. I don't? There are 24 of us. 24, okay. In your group. Yeah. I was just sitting there listening to that and thinking, when I'm 24, it'll be about the time, the 50th anniversary, but I'm not sure whether I'll be here doing it then, but something to look forward to. Okay, so if you'd like to go and help yourself to refreshments, and if Sue can stand up, Sue, just stand, and your wonderful refreshments, you'll see them when you get out there. Sue is our silver star baker, so big hand for Sue. Okay, so please go, mingle, enjoy your refreshments, and try and be back here by 11:30. Thank you. Hello everyone, it's great to see so many of you here today. I won't be asking you individually how long you've been with us, but I'm sure that some of you can remember a lot of the 25 years of Hillingdon Hu3a. But great to see everyone, and I'm impressed that you all made it in that weather. Okay, here we go then. So 2001 was a memorable year. And the main event, of course, was the birth of Hillingdon Hu3a. However, other things were happening in the world. And as you know from my days when I was chair, I like to give you a bit of scene setting. So Tony Blair was our Prime Minister. The Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings film franchises were launched. So, and I believe there's a new Lord of the Rings film coming out later this year or next year. Kylie was topping the music charts with Can't Get You Out of My Head. And on TV, we were watching The Office and The West Wing. Liverpool beat Arsenal 2-1 to win the FA Cup. And it was at the Millennium Stadium because Wembley was still undergoing its refurbishment. I feel I need also to say that, sadly, the 11th of September in 2001 was the day that the Al-Qaeda terrorists flew two hijacked passenger planes into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York, causing many deaths and casualties, and a third plane was crashed into the Pentagon. However, enough of the scene setting, and that now brings us to the inception of Hillingdon Hu3a. According to the research, Hillingdon was a Hu3a desert in the 2001. So a group of friends got together, one of whom was already an active member of Hu3a,
and they decided to host a fact-finding meeting at the Compass Theatre, which took place in November 2020. And they were swamped. More people turned up than they imagined. So they decided that the group that they had collected would form a steering group, and they then held the first meeting at the Ickenham Village Hall on the 4th of January 2001. 200 people turned up, and they voted in favour of accepting the steering group as the Hu3a committee under the chairmanship of the Reverend David Jenkins. Now, I also understand that the Reverend David Jenkins, who was a vicar within Hillingdon, actually married Pam Smith, who was our long-standing secretary, and her husband Derek. So Pam was just saying that he was actually in Harlington. So there we are. So the said AGM took place in February, and everything was formally agreed, and 400 members were recruited in the first year. They were expecting about 125. And the guy who was the first membership secretary, Derek McCall, he was hoping he'd just be able to keep a written record of members, but he was required to break out his shiny new computer and keep some electronic records. And the rest, as they say, is history. And looking back to those early years, you'll see lots of references to coffee mornings, visits, languages, walks, rambles, similar things to some of the ones we do today. But I've always said that Hu3a is about evolution rather than revolution, and history confirms this. Winding forward 10 years, a man named Alan Mellors was in the chair, and here he is over here. And we had a website which had been running for a year. 220 members had registered on this website for the member zone. But disturbingly, I did see that it said on the article that was in one of the magazines that if you couldn't remember your password, it was a good idea to write it down and keep it somewhere. We didn't recommend that today. Monthly meetings took place at the Odeon Cinema in Uxbridge. No films were shown. And we referred to our groups as study groups. So we still had that educational link into our name. Activities included coffee mornings, Sunday lunches. I'm not sure whether you had to cook it or whether you just went out somewhere. Rambling, London walks. And there's evidence of Chris and Brian actually researching a London walk to see if we'd like to go with an organised walk that was run by what we now know as the Blue Badge Guides. And it worked, and we still do those. And so we had languages as well, lots of visits, and gardening, to name but a few. One of the visit stories which attracted my attention was a trip to the Kensington Roof Garden. But when the people turned up, the venue had made an error and were unable to honour the booking. But they rescued the situation by offering a future date with free champagne. So that was a win-win, I think. An anonymous quote from one of our members during our 10th year said, "The best thing about our Hu3a is the companionship, meeting up with our friends, making new ones, and the opportunity to try new interests and hobbies with the emphasis on enjoyment." I think that description continues to be relevant today. Moving forward again, I joined Hu3a in 2015. And then as a new member, you were only able to join at the beginning of the year. So I had been on a waiting list for a couple of months, but fortunately I'd submitted my application form on paper, by post, before I retired.
My first involvement was attending a monthly meeting at Winston Churchill Hall, where I met someone I knew from our commute into work, and I was pleasantly surprised by the scope of Hu3a activities, both locally and via the Third Age Trust. And when I got my membership information, I got a copy of the Third Age Trust magazine, and I noticed in there that Hu3a, as we know, is an international organisation, and they were looking for people to go and represent the UK at a conference in the Maldives. And I thought, I could do that. But, then I realised that you had to pay for your own accommodation and your airfares. So I didn't go. I did, however, join a couple of groups during my early days and volunteered to become a member of the rug group. Now, the rug group was very different to what it is now when I joined, because it was all about admin. Membership was a paper-based system, so we had a small army of people once a year stuffing envelopes with membership cards and letters, plus a couple of newsletters for new members. So you almost needed to take a wheelbarrow to the post box to actually get them into the system. Visits were also admin based, along with newsletter distribution. So there was a lot of paperwork, and our IT system has fortunately now evolved to provide an electronic membership system, visits booking system, newsletter distribution system, and a back payment option, although traditional methods are still available for those who wish to use them. The big event in recent years was the COVID pandemic, when we were all required to stay at home and only go out for up to an hour per day for a walk or for necessary visits. But you could go to the supermarket and you'd see people standing in the longest queue with the trolley so they could be outside, and everybody was dressed up because otherwise they were just living in, their pajamas or whatever at home. Not to be deterred, however, our Hu3a continued to run our monthly meetings on Zoom, and indeed some of our group meetings too. Who knew anything about Zoom before COVID? But we very quickly learned, because we could keep in touch with our families, we could keep in touch with our friends. I'm sure lots of meetings took place where people had a cup of tea and a piece of cake or a cheeky glass of wine. And then we also had people doing training online. And so it was ideal for our Hu3a to keep together. And amazingly, it's now become part of our psyche. So we still offer Zoom access to our monthly meetings. So hello to all our Zoomers today, wherever you are. And we also have some of our groups meet on Zoom as well. However, back to my history, moving on from rug support, I became the membership secretary and then served as chair between 2022 and 25. And I am still a committee member. But I did say the membership system was paper-based, and we went on holiday towards the end of the membership forms being sent in before they had to be processed. And our daughter came to the house whilst we were away because she was wanting to pick something up, and she couldn't open the front door because there were so many envelopes in the hall behind the front door. However, that is not the case anymore. It's much more streamlined and probably much more accurate. As I draw this to a close, 25 years of Hillingdon Hu3a does demonstrate, I think, evolution, continuity with the human interaction still being enjoyed over some similar groups to those enjoyed 25 years ago, and a desire to embrace progress new ideas. I doubt whether 25 years ago our founders would have envisaged us setting up WhatsApp groups to keep in touch, or playing pickleball, or doing some of the activities that we do. And we have lots to choose from, and I think we provide something for everybody. So, you know, there is, and as we know, if you think there's something there you'd like to do but you're not doing, you could always have a word with Zara and set up a group yourself. I do wonder, though, we've talked a little bit about our 50-year anniversary, and I wonder where we'll be celebrating it. I suspect not in Windsor Churchill Hall. So I would like to say I hope to see you all for our 50th anniversary at the International Space Station. Thank you very much, Anne. I'm very interested to look back on 25 years. So in Hu3a, we've got several sport and fitness groups and exercise groups, and we have a representative now from our Chairobics group. So I'd like to welcome Bieneke, who's going to give us a demonstration. And I think people are free to join in if they like, if you feel so inclined. So get rid of some of those lovely cakes you've just eaten.
Hello, everyone. As you can hear me, back again. First ukulele and now this. And my chair. So you're all sitting in a chair. So the movements we're going to do today are basically on the vertical plane. So we're not going to do anything like this. So we'll get accidents. I'm going way back in time with, what's the blessed thing? Kathy Kirby. Who remembers Kathy Kirby? Yeah. One of her songs, Let the Music Start. It starts slow, speeds up a bit, and the end really fast. Now the movements we're going to do are clap and on your hand, on your legs. So clap 4 of those, and then it's going to change. The beginning is slow, so it'll be easier. 2 claps, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the third one is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and it's slower than what we're doing now to start with, and then really feel I'm on a horse here. It's faster and faster. I've never been on a horse. But I can imagine what it's like when it's galloping away. So here we go. Let's go and find where Kathy is. Yeah, number 19. Oh, 19 again. Loud enough.
Oh, let the music start.
Yep.
And let us see the dance begin. 'Cause only when we dance I get the chance to hold you here within my arms again. So let the music start. And let the leader beat the time. With the beating of our hearts we'll be a part of all the dancing, and then you'll be mine. And we can laugh at any sorrow that tomorrow may be bringing, as we join in all the dancing and the singing. We'll make a wish sealed with a kiss. So let the music start, and let us see the dance begin. 'Cause only when we dance I get the chance to hold you here in my arms again. So let the music start, and let the people all unite. Then lovers everywhere can have a share in all the happiness we found tonight. La 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 la. the music start and let the people all unite. Then lovers everywhere can have a share in all the happiness we found tonight. La 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 da da da, la 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 la, la 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 la. Oh, let the music start.
His favorite. Right, that's the first one. Let's change the CD. All our children will be saying is CDs. Everything has to go now via all their internet stuff. Right. This one, I wanted to show you this one. It is so colourful. Colourful. It says, jump and shout. Now, that's not what we're going to do today. But my grandchildren love this one. So, here goes. I have to tell you a bit about this one. Macarena. Who remembers that? Sometimes I say macaroni. Right. Yeah, I'll start with, I always say start with your right hand. Should you ever find yourself in company and doing it, you have to start with your right arm. If you start with the left hand like I would, because I'm left-handed, it looks all wrong. But because we're sitting down there, you choose which arm you're going to do. So I'll do as I say, right, left, that's for me, right, left. Arms up, shoulders, on your head, across your body, on your legs, and then instead of doing all this hip thing, we just raise our arms and clap. So that's the difference. Let's start that again. So it's right, left, arms up, on the shoulders, on your head, across your body, and on your legs, and whee! Yep. That's it. So we give you a go, so you don't have to move, just your arms. Right, and usually it's not 11. That's the mad number, isn't it? Mad number 11. Eek. I always have to wait for this thing. It says loading. Right, number 11. I am not trying to do
When I dance, they call me Macarena, and the boys they say que soy buena. They all want me, they can't have me, so they all come and dance beside me. Move with me, chant with me, and if you're good, I'll take you home with me.
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Now don't you worry about my boyfriend, the boy whose name is Tony. I don't want him, couldn't stand him, he was no good, so I... Now, come on, what was I supposed to do? He was out of town, and his two friends, so fun, his two friends, so fun.
Tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
I am not trying to do
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo cuerpo a dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, tu cuerpo a dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Come and find me, my name is Macarena. Always at the party con las chicas que están buenas. Come join me, dance with me, and all you fellas chat along with me.
Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría
Thank you very much, Bieneke. Thank you. I don't need to be rude to those calories. Thank you. So we're moving on to something completely different. We move to the language groups. We've got quite a few different language groups in U3A. Spanish, German, Italian, French, and you've seen some of the tables from some of those groups, and a Polish group as well. But we are going to Wales, and we're going to have a presentation by our Welsh language group. So if they'd like to come up on stage, thank you. Is this one? Can you hear me now? Is that better? Oh, that's better, isn't it? Yeah, I can hear. Right, the Welsh class. Just under 10 years ago, the Welsh class was formed by a lady called Anne. She was an English lady who spoke Welsh as she'd lived in Cardiff for many years. Irene was part of that class. A few years later, I joined, and shortly after, Tony did. We met at Anne's house once a month until COVID hit. Then we started meeting on Zoom weekly, and Phillip joined us, followed by Michael. Anne unfortunately then decided to give up the leadership of the group. So as we had no fluent Welsh speaker, we were self-taught, reading and translating entry-level books. A few years ago, John, who's somewhere around, he joined the group, which was brilliant, as he was born and bred in West Wales and a fluent Welsh speaker. He helps us try to pronounce the words, which is hard work sometimes. They say learning a new language is good exercise for the brain, and we have proved that by winning the Hu3a annual quiz a few times. Thank you. We also meet up from time to time for lunch and also attend Welsh events. In fact, yesterday we were at the Royal Albert Hall watching the Welsh Festival of Male Choirs, which was Bieneke, which means brilliant. Irene.
Outside of Wales, there seems to be a common belief that Welsh words are difficult, or if not impossible, to pronounce. But Welsh is actually a phonetic language. Once you learn the Welsh alphabet, all 29 letters, then with just a handful of exceptions, the letters are always pronounced the same way. No decisions about hard or soft letter C's or words like cough, where the GH is pronounced as an F. However, what does cause some problems are the mutations. The beginnings of some words can change depending on the word which comes before it. Cymru is the name of our country, but anyone who's driven over the Severn Bridge will have seen this sign which says Croeso I Gymru. C has changed to a G. Believe it or not, as the language has evolved, the sounds of combinations of words have been changed to make them easier to pronounce. Hence, Croeso I Gymru is a lot easier to say and flows off the tongue more easily than croeso and Cymru. And if you don't believe me, you're just going to have to take my word for that. Right, now, a few phrases you may well have heard, and it will eventually turn up on the screen. Iechyd da, I'm sure you've all heard it. It means good health, but actually it's used as cheers. And the very famous cwtch, which is a hag, a cuddle, but with an awful lot of love attached. A cwtch is not the same as a cuddle. You ask my grandchildren. The three spellings, the more common spelling these days is with the CH, which is rather strange, as it doesn't have any relation to the way the word is pronounced, but it's something that's turned up. And the final one, a chyfri, which is a fantastic phrase, a phrase which does what it says on the tin. It means something horribly messy, disgusting, and it's a very, very useful phrase. I recommend you teach it to your grandchildren because they will use it frequently. Thank you. England would sometimes say it's raining cats and dogs, and other countries have different sayings. I think in France they say it's raining. So French people are. In Spain, it's raining by the pitcherful. In Germany, it's pouring like out of buckets. But what do we say in Wales? Sticks. Right, and what do we call these pretty little bugs? In America, they're called ladybugs. But in Wales, we call them scrota, which is a short red cow. Thank you.
The next slide. Favourite Welsh word is actually a place name. And it's the place that Dylan Thomas set his poetic play Under Milk Wood. Now, I sometimes listen to the 1954 recording the BBC made of Under Milk Wood, and I hear the lovely Welsh tones of Richard Burton saying Clarigib. And it's a good word, that is, in Welsh, because it's got the double L, which is the cha, which you put your tongue behind the back of your palate. And it's got the gib at the end, because all Welsh use are pronounced with an I. So that's a beautiful, beautiful word for a place name. Now, does anybody know where Dylan Thomas derived that place name from? Put your hands up if you know. Well, there's some people there and the back. I can safely say that you people know bugger all. Because that word is just bugger all, spelled backwards. And I can safely say that after learning the language for 7 years, I know Clarigib Welsh. Keep trying. Jock, thank you.
All right. I've been told this is the party piece, so let's see how we get on. So continuing the place name theme, some people find Welsh place names difficult to pronounce, and many think they're designed specifically to confuse and annoy English tourists. I'd like to assure you that's not the case. But I can't. Perhaps the most famous example of a difficult to pronounce place name is a small village in North Wales on Anglesey. Most of you have heard of this place, but few of you will be able to pronounce it. Originally, it was known as Llanfair Pwll Gwyn. But when the railways arrived in North Wales in the mid-19th century, the local council thought it would be a very good idea to attract more tourists to add a few additional words. So they added Gylch Gogareth, Chairobics and to the name, thus creating the longest place name in the country with 58 letters. In full, the name now reads Llanfair Pwll Gwyn Gylch Gogareth, Chairobics and Thank you very much. Which roughly translates as the Church of St Mary in the hollow of the White Hazel, the fierce whirlpool, and the Church of Tysilio of the Red Cave. Of course, locals still call it Llanfair Pwls or Llanfair Pwls Gwyn or Llanfair PG. You wouldn't find anybody in Wales Wales saying this. Any volunteers who'd like to have a go? No. Okay. Diolch yn fawr iawn o dosbarth Cymraeg. Thank you very much from the Welsh class. Robert. Thank you.
To say Dim Parkio. No parking. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we come now to our final presentation, and this is from the Creative Writing Group. They've had a table down here earlier on. I'd like to welcome several of their members who are going to come up and I think read out some of the things they've written for our 25th anniversary.
Actually, can you put that on the side for me? Thank you, everybody. I'm a member, as you can guess, of the Creative Writers Group. During lockdown, I decided to research my ancestors, and that evolved into my writing a book about my childhood. It was mainly intended for my grandchildren, but I was told that it might be of interest to others, and so I had it published on Amazon. So here is a small extract from my book, Deja Jude, Memories of a Wartime Child. Once the war started and my father received his call-up papers, Mum had to run the business by herself. That also meant living on a reduced income, so she could no longer afford to pay for a nanny to look after me. She had to take me to work with her, but she kept Nana B on just one day a week to help with the housework. On Saturday, we set off for the shop, leaving Nana B, who I adored, in the house by herself. After lunch, the air raid sirens went off. Mum rushed her to the nearest bomb shelter, where we squashed in with other locals. I covered my ears to shut out all the loud explosions, the shouting and screaming. It was very scary. We had to stay there for over 2 hours. When the all clear finally sounded, it was already late afternoon, so we headed straight home, but were surprised to find our road cordoned off. Sorry, madam, you can't go up there, a warden told her. Nana passed him and stared at the heap of rubble where our house used to be. She simply stood and stared, unable to move. A kind volunteer came, took her by the arm, and led us to the local school, already packed with other bomb victims. We stayed there for the next 24 hours, sleeping on an assortment of old mattresses and eating food donated by kind neighbours. The following day, Nana B's father came and took us back to his farm in his battered old truck. He and Nan hugged each other and wept a lot. Nana B was not there, and when I asked where she was, I was told to shh. It was many years before I realised that Nana B had been in the house that morning, so had probably died, and my mother simply could not bring herself to tell me. Thank you. I have brought a few copies of the book here, and any sales that I make, I'm making donations to the Macular Degeneration Research. So please come to the table if you feel like buying one and help the macular degeneration research. Thank you very much. I have read Judy's book. It's most interesting. I'm not on commission. I have a couple of poems to read. This one's called Thank Goodness for the Hu3a. Out with the old and in with the new. Easier said than done. A prune of his clothes, a sort through the books, a change of the we to the I. Now I'm finding myself again, no longer his carer. I'm back to my groups, to laughter and chat, to stretching my life and my learning. Searching for remnants of the me, for silver, for gold, the best of my history, to help me move forward and learn to love life again. And the second one is a bit more cheerful. It's called Packaging. Shrink wrap, bubble pack, easy if you've got the knack. Tops you press and then you turn, if you're not too old to learn. If your hands are gnarled and old, then it's torture you've been sold. You hum and ha, curse and swear, shake your head, pull out your hair. Instructions? Well, they give no clue. The contents blink and stare at you, tantalising in their virgin state, trapped in packaging you hate. So if you're old and knocking on, avoid that packaging. It's just a con.
A poem. The summer morning mist arrives completely without warning. The watchful riser notes it, but the rest are none the wiser. Your true perspective changes as you view the distant ranges, yet as the sun comes to the fore, views change, remaining as before.
Thank you very much, the Creative Writing Group. I don't know about the rest of you, but the perils of trying to get into shrink wrapping and cellophane, it certainly struck a chord with me. Yes. Okay, so we're coming to the end of this month's programme, and I'd just like to hand back over to Pauline, who's going to give some closing remarks and draw the raffle.
Sorry, it's me again. I promise I'll keep this brief so that we can move on to the raffle. I trust you have all enjoyed the wonderful selection of activities and performances showcased today as much as I have. As we have seen this morning, Hillingdon Hu3a is blessed with a tremendous range of talents, interests and friendships. Events such as this do not happen by accident. Many people have worked incredibly hard and devoted countless hours to planning, preparation, and to make today's celebration a success. Throughout the year, they also work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that our monthly meetings run smoothly. Whilst I do not have time to thank everybody individually, I would like to acknowledge a few groups and individuals in particular. Our refreshment group team, who faithfully turn up month after month to keep us refreshed. Just think of the thousands of cups and teas and coffees they must have served over the 25 years. I would also like to thank Sue for the delicious homemade cakes provided today for us all to enjoy during the interval. A big thanks goes to Tony and the technical team. They ensure that our meetings are filmed for YouTube, streamed live on Zoom, and that our speakers can be heard clearly. Without them, many of you would not be able to hear me at all. Although I suspect some of you may feel that would not necessarily be a bad thing. Looking at today's anniversary celebration, I know just how much planning and organisation has gone into ensuring that we all enjoy such a memorable morning. I would therefore like to ask Anne, Gaynor and Sue to stand up and come up on stage, and I'd like to say thank you. Could you get the flowers behind the... Oh, so I'll bring the flowers out later. Looking at today's anniversary celebration, I know just how much planning and organisation has gone into ensuring that we all enjoy such a memorable morning. I would therefore like to ask... Well, I've done that bit. Oh,
Yeah, that's great.
right. Ladies, you've been absolutely brilliant. Without your hard work, dedication and attention to detail, this event would simply not have happened. I'm sure everyone here would like to join me in showing our appreciation. I would now like to thank all the groups who gave us such professional demonstrations for us to enjoy today. I can assure you that the time, effort and no doubt nervous energy invested in preparing and rehearsing such your presentations have been greatly appreciated by us all. It has been wonderful to see such diverse range of activities on display, highlighting the breadth of interests, skills and talents that make our Hu3a such a vibrant organisation. Finally, I would like to thank our special guests, Val and Phillip, for joining us today. We are delighted that you could be with us. And I hope you have enjoyed seeing some of the many activities, friendships and achievements that make Hillingdon Hu3a such a special community. Anyway, now enough from me, it's time for the raffle. Well, some flowers behind you. Yeah, so yeah, I'll sort of yeah, but now I'll put them together. Sorry, I'll put them down. Right. And now, enough from me, it's time for the raffle. Now, somebody left their ticket in the ladies. The number was 67. Anyway, right, everybody's got your tickets? All right, Val, would you like to do the others? Oh, how do you open this up? Do you do? Oh, how do you open it? We don't know. Right. Do I have to put a hand on? Right, okay. Right, here we go. Right, here's the first ticket. 119. 119.
Oh.
So shall I go there? Yeah. Right, sitting ticket. Philip, would you like to pull that out, please?
Yeah. Just one there?
Yeah.
Just one. Okay. So the number I have is
201. 201. What's that? At the back. There you go. If you'd like to come and collect it,
Thank you, Mike. Well done.
Right.
Okay.
And would you like to pull out the last one, please?
I have got number 10, so don't call me that one.
Yeah, right. Last and final number, 27. Who's got 27?
Yeah.
Oh. Right. I've got some things for the three ladies that I should have had ready earlier. Oh. Right. Dana?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Anne? And Sue, where are you? Like the Grand Prix.
Just don't ask us in for the next 25 years. We're doing the 30th, actually.
Family, I do hope you have enjoyed this occasion as much as I have. The time has certainly flown by, which I think is a sign of just how much we've all enjoyed being together. As we celebrate 25 years, we can look back with pride on all that has been achieved and perhaps more importantly, look forward with confidence to many years of learning, friendship and shared experiences. Thank you all for coming today and for helping to make this celebration such a wonderful success. Your support, enthusiasm and friendship are what makes Hillingdon Hu3a the thriving and welcoming organisation it is. I look forward to seeing you again soon, whether it be at meetings or trips or one of the many activities organised by our groups. I trust you all have a safe journey home and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Goodbye.
Sorry everyone. I think we should say thank you to Pauline as well, because she's been absolutely amazing. She's only been the chair for a week. So, Pauline, well done.
Well done.